Sanghang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinādāna viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccācārā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramīraya maccapamādātthāna viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sabba pāpassa akaranang කුසලස්ස උපසම්පදා සචිත්ත පරියෝදපනං ඊතං බුද්ධාන ශාසනන්ති. Dear venerable members of the Mahasangha, including the abbot of the Vihara, Venerable Marathadananda Thera, and dear devotees, today you have gathered here online to participate in, to listen to a Dhamma Desana. I believe maybe this is the 11th Dhamma Desana during the Vasana season. This would be the just a couple of minutes. This could be the 8th, perhaps, Dhamma Desana during the Vasana season. And as I'm aware, these Dhamma Desanas are sponsored by different families of the Torira Buddhist Vihara congregation. So today's Dhamma Desana is sponsored by Mr. Manage Nisanka and Mrs. Ari Nisanka. So they have done this faithfully in order to transfer merits to their departed relatives, as well as blessing on their living relatives and living family members, as well as to acquire merits on them and their family members. So we will focus on that after listening to this Dhamma Desana. So it's time for us to start listening to this. So first of all, this is the Vassana season. So during the Vassana season, you have you participate in more than in religious activities that you usually don't do that many. For instance, you listen to Dhammadesana and you practice many punya karmas. That's because this is a period of time of intense training. So I believe that you have taken all these 3 months for your spiritual growth, your personality development, and for to acquire merits for your next life. So this is a very meaningful period of time, all these 3 months. This is also a lot of activities for us. So immediately after I finish the Dhammadesana, so I will have another Dhammadesana, 1 hour Dhammadesana. And since the morning, we have been very busy here at Houston Buddhist Vihara. That's because people want more service and they are willing to acquire more service from the Mahasangha. So let us consider these days as a time for us to cultivate good qualities even more and practice the Dhamma more, listen to the Dhamma more, and to be more familiar with the Buddha's teaching. So this is a time of intense training. This is an occasion for our personality development, as a part of your success. In the United States of America, people always believe that if we have wealth, if we have money, if you have materialistic possessions, we are highly successful. And by thinking so, they ignore the other aspects. But your financial success and your material success, your professional success, and in general, your secular, worldly success is only a part of a part. So it's not everything. If you ignore your own well-being means your mental and physical well-being, which Buddha focused on. It's, in other words, it's a personality development. So we are missing a very significant part of our success. Therefore, let us take these 3 months, this Vassana season, as an opportunity for you to develop your personality, which is the ultimate goal in the Buddha's teaching, right? The highest development of our personality is the highest achievement, which is called Nibbana. So we all are on the way, and let us walk faster along this path during these 3 months and get all these great qualities to our life and practice it and be better people, which means we have developed our personality to a higher level. So having said that, let us come to the topic that the stanza I uttered, which summarizes the topic that I am discussing today. You all have heard this. I think most of you remember this and you have memorized this. It's a very popular stanza in the Buddha's teaching. And perhaps some of you have not seen its significance, its meaning. So let us take this time, around the next 40 to 45 minutes, to focus on the significance of this special utterance. So, in brief, this is the minimum summary, the very pith of the Buddha's teaching. Sabba papassa akaranam kusalassa upasampada sachitta paryodapanam ekam buddhana sasanam. What a beautiful, what a succinct stanza this is. It summarizes everything and it presents the minimum summary, the very pith of the Buddha's teaching. In other words, this is the topic sentence of a great long, hundreds of thousands of pages long thesis statement, a dissertation. So, in such a succinct and elegant way, the Buddha's teaching has been summarized in this particular stanza. Etang Buddhana Sasanam. This is the Buddha's teaching, Buddhana Sasanam. The Buddha's advice, Buddhana Sasanam. Buddha's advice, the Buddha's guidance. This is the Buddha's guidance. For 45 years, from the age of 36 to 80, Buddha traveled. He went from village to village, town to town, from one state to another. And his disciples also did the same. Buddha never stopped. He talked to hundreds of thousands of people. So did his disciples. Everything taken together, you have it in this particular stanza. Etang Buddhan Sasana. This is the advice Buddha offered to you in his mission from the age of 36 to 80. What is this? Now, Sabba Papasa Akaranang. You have to avoid, stop, refrain from Sabba Papa. All kinds of a Papa karma. What is this Papa? We will discuss it. Because sometimes these words cannot be translated. Because these are technical terms in the Buddha's teaching. Like the words Nibbana and word Kamma cannot be translated. This particular word, Papa, cannot be translated. We have to taste it and we have to find it and explain it. That's one thing. Sabba Papa Sakaranam. Stay away from all Papa. Kusalasa Upasampada. Cultivate Kusala. Now here Kusala is skillful act. And on different occasions, Buddha has used Punya. Punya and Kusala basically the same, even though the two words are different. Kusala means skill. Kusala Kamma means a skillful act. If you are skilled, you always perform wholesome acts. So that Punya, Kusala are similar. So the second thing you were asked by the Buddha to do is, now the first one is staying away, or refraining from, and the second one is cultivation. Kusalasa upasampada. Not only should you stay away from Papa, but you must cultivate Punya. Third, Satitta Paryodapanam. Above all, you have to cultivate, develop, culture your own mind. Etang Buddhan Sasana. This is what the Buddha taught. Now, looking at briefly, you see that this does not have any dogma, any unseen things. In this particular stanza, we don't have anything about after-death existence or anything. This is something for now. This is something for now. What do we have to do right now? On one occasion, Buddha taught, Tittatu Pubbanto, Tittatu Aparanto, Dhammante Disisami. I will teach you, let the bygones be bygones. Tittatu Pubbanto. Tittatu Aparanto, the future is I'm not focusing on future also, let it be there. The future, let it be in future. Dhammante Disisam, here Dhamma means what you should do right now. So what I am talking is about your present. It doesn't matter where you came from and who you were in the past, that's inconsequential. And what will happen to me in future? Some people are worried, stressed, depressed. But what the Buddha says is, no, let it go too. Let future be in future. Dhammante, this is Sami. I am teaching you what should you do at present. That is Dhamma. So this is what we call Dhamma. Dhamma means Sabba papassa akaranang kusalasa upasampada sachitta paryodapana. This is all. But how easy it is said than done. That's an important question. How simple the Buddha's teaching is when you listen. But when you practice, there are so many things for us to do. Now, this is all about practice. Now, belief and practice are different. You all know that. I believe means I don't know. I guess, I deduce, I fancy, I believe, I think, maybe. These all words means that I do not know. I understand means I know. This is not about belief. Nothing to do about belief. This is about practice. And you are aware that if you practice correctly, you go there. You are there. You improve and you be a better person. So the Buddha's teaching is all about practice. Now we know that if you say that I believe in the Buddha, I bow down to the Buddha all the time, so am I a good person? Slightly, very little. I practice what the Buddha asked me to do, and am I a good person? Yes, of course. I refrain, I stay away from what the Buddha asked me to. Am I a good person? Yes, of course. So this is all about practice. What is this practice? Some people, very sad and very pathetic by having the label of I am a Buddhist. With traditional people, some in Sri Lanka and some in other countries, of course. And it's directly applicable to Sri Lankans also. You place a label upon you and say, I'm a Buddhist. Some people fail to practice. They practice rituals, believing in dogma, mostly rituals, but fail to go deeper into that. They just touch the surface. In the Dhammapada, Buddha said that beautifully, Achattikang te gahanang bahirang parimachati. Inside is the forest with all thorns. Bahirang parimachati. You purify the outside. Some people put all the dirt under carpet. That's what a lot of people do. And they sweep on the top and say, everything is fine and great. I'm good. I have become a good person. But the dirt is inside. It causes allergy. And it's dirt. It's smelly. This particular stanza urges you to practice and be better people. Now, for instance, I'll tell you one thing. Now, Sura Mere Manchapama Dattana, I mean, Achattikan te gahana bahiram parimachati. Okay. Inside is corrupt and degenerated, but externally you purify. Now, You every day recite these 5 precepts. Sura, Merya, Majjapama, Dhatthana, Viramani, Sikkhapada, Samadhi. Every day you say. But how many of you do not take any kind of alcohol? How many? Not strong liquor, but even other kinds of alcohol, like any controlled substance, anything. And Sura, Merya, Majjapama, Dhatthana means anything addictive that change your mental and physical well-being. When you have parties, how many of you say that, oh, in my home, I have observed these 5 precepts. I don't serve alcohol in parties. How many of you do that? If you do that, of course, you must be proud about that. You are great. But most Buddhists, I know that, observe the 5 precepts and say Sura, Merya, Majjapama, Dhatthana. But the strong liquors are in their rooms, in their places. They have a special place in their home for strong drinks. One more example is, everybody says that Thiruvan Saranai, Buddha Saranai, when you wind up a telephone conversation or something. You know, recently I heard that in Sri Lanka, a person, even the criminal, you know, even the worst criminal, those who do business, drug business, those who do heinous crimes, you know, when they communicate with the other partners of same business, all the time they say, Thiruvan Saranai, Sambudhu Saranai, Buddha Saranai, and wind up their telephone conversation. This is what you call Ajjattikang te gahanang bahirang parimacchati. Externally you purify. External people show that they are great, you know, but inside is a rotten degeneration. So this particular, but I don't say that everybody is like that. So with those who are familiar with the Buddha's teaching, those who practice it, have practiced it and have achieved a lot of success. But majority is different. Now, let us go in brief about all these 3 points. Sabba papa sakaranang, kusala supasampada, sachitta karyodapana. Sabba papasa akaranang. What are these papa kamma? You know? Papa means what? Akaranang, not doing. Through what do we do? We have threefold behavior. When you request forgiveness from the triple gem, we utter that, right? Kayena vacha chittena samadena maya karta. Kaya vacha chitta. Sometimes mana. Chitta mana is used in same context. So this is the 3 doors we call. Threefold human behavior. Kaya kamma, vacha kamma, mano kamma. Kamma is action. Okay? Kamma has different meanings, but here kamma means your action. Intentional action. You think and do, that's intentional, that's kamma. Now, papa and punya, or papa and kusala, we do and we accumulate through kaya and vacha. That is our external behavior. The external behavior of a human being, right? Threefold behavior. So our verbal behavior, our physical behavior, both of which are exterior, external, and your inner behavior is interior, internal. Now, punya and papa are related to our external behavior. Where do you find this papa kamma? In other words, the bad things in brief, in simple terms, the bad things we do through our body and through our mouth. What are those bad things? We have several of them, 5 of them in the 5 precepts, and there are 3 more which should be your daily practices. Okay. Panagata, Adattadana, Kamamichachara, Musavada, Suramere, Pisunavacha, Parusavacha, Sampapparata. These are the 8 unwholesome actions of Papa Karma that people do generally through their words and their body, and the actions that Buddha wanted you to refrain from. So, out of these 8, 4 are related to body and 4 are related to your mind, right? Your words. Okay. What are the 4? Panagata, Panatipata, Adinadana, Kamesamichachara, Suramere. Okay. Now these 4 are related to. So there are 4 areas. There are 4 areas where you have to train. You have to tame. You have come a long way then. The greatest point in the Buddha's teaching, the most important point is respect for life. Respect for life. Whether it's a human being or an animal or a plant. It's part of nature. So, I do not destroy life is the first thing. Of course, there are exceptions. For instance, I don't hurt life, I do not destroy life. Okay. So, does everybody follow this principle? But there are exceptions. Now, I was in a troublesome situation recently. There was a beehive at the temple, at the vihara. This beehive has been constructed for a long time. And, the electricity switchboard behind that, these bees were there for a long period of time. But then, what happened was that we had new 2 students in Sunday school. If a bee stings, that is an emergency situation for both children. They have to be rushed to the hospital. So then you have a very difficult situation. I'm in a difficult situation. What should I do? Then these students want to study at the same time. I should not hurt this bees. So we called several places to remove this beehive and bee colony, to remove it and not to destroy it, relocate it. And we found one family, but nowadays they say, oh, there are some killer bees so that we don't do anything. But luckily we got one person and who took that beehive, bee colony and removed it. But in this process, I saw some bees dead. Everybody returns, a few of them for whatever reason. And of course, their living, their house, their home was destroyed. They were given a new home, but still their old home was destroyed. But I gave you this example to show you that when a situation like this arises, you have to use your rational argument, rational thinking. It's up to you to reason. The Buddha's teaching is a reasoning, encourage you to think rationally. It's a rational argumentation. So think rationally and make the wisest decision instead of getting stuck in a kind of a strict way of thinking. Overall, what matters is what is going on in your brain. Do I feel love and respect for life? So that is Panatipata. I am telling this in brief. Adinadana means not, taking what does not belong to you, but stealing. In Sinhala we call Anungede Noganima. But Anungede Noganima has a very broad meaning. If any of you is a student and you plagiarize, that is also, that belongs to Adinadana. Suppose you find a wallet or something with a lot of money, but you look around and nobody is there, and you think, I keep it, that is Adinadana. The question you have to ask is this mine? Does it belong to me? Then it is your duty to give it to the responsible person. Land grabbing in Sri Lanka, I knew, this Ajjattekan Tegahanam Bahiram Parimajjati. One woman, he was living next to the Vihara premises, temple. Her house was next to the temple. She comes to the Vihara and observe precepts. But what she does is that she adds inch by inch to her property from the temple by putting, I don't know how to say that, some sticks in the sticks, the border sticks, she put it across and then she makes it straight. Then she gained 1 inch like that. This is the woman who observed 5 precepts. One day, I was at Appanala temple, so it's a Vesak poetry. And we were displaying the Sarvajna Dhatu, the relics of the Buddha. And I was pointing out, I said, this is inside this casket lies the relics of the Buddha. Please pay respect and acquire merits. And then people give donations there. They put some coins and some notes like that. One older woman, and she was keeping her both palms together and very faithfully came there. And she gave me a note. So many years ago, in 1990s, I'm talking about. So she gave me a note, and she wanted to change it. So I changed that note. It's called 100 rupee note. Those days, 100 rupee means a lot. And I gave back. And her face showed some surprise. But still, she took one note from that and put it and donated it and took the rest and went again. And I thought actually she gave me 100 rupees, not 100 rupee note. But later on, when I looked at it, I saw that she gave me only 50 rupee note. I thought she gave me 100 rupees, so I gave her changes of 20 rupee note or something, 5 of them. So she knew that. She took it and she went away. This is Adinadana. This woman is an old woman of 65, 70 years of old. But she has been practicing this Buddhism. She seems to be a faithful person. But still she took that money and went. This is Adinadana. Now, Kamesmichachara means, it is translated, it's a wrong translation. Kamesu is, the popular translation is wrong. Kamesu means the things you like. Kama means kamatta in Sinhala. Kama, what you like. Kamesu means kamayehi neveyi. Kamesu kiyala kiyanne kamayanhi. Kamesu michachara. It is generally translated as sexual misconduct, but it should be translated as sensual misconduct. Sensual misconduct. So we have senses: eye, ear, nose, mouth, mind, body. These are senses. anything that you do goes to an extreme, and if anything is an addictive habit, that is sensual misconception, sensual misconduct. So, if a student child always listen to music and in my campus, I did a research, and out of all the on average, every student spends at least 4 hours, 4.5 hours every day on harmful habits. These addictive habits. So that is sensory misconduct. If you are on social media platforms all the time and YouTube all the time, okay, many hours of that. So that is sensory misconduct. If a child plays games all the time, most of the time, okay, that's sensual misconduct. The Buddha never asked you to stay away from sensual gratification. That is also important. Remember, Atta Kilamatani Yoga, Kamasukantani Yoga, right? Staying away completely is the one extreme, and going to the extreme in gratifying is another extreme. So what the Buddha asked you was to find the middle path. So your sensual gratification should have a middle path. So that is what you call Kamasmichachara. So there are certain things, of course, you should never do. That is why the Buddha used Suramira Manchapama as to emphasize that as the last stanza, last precept. So far we have been discussing what we should do through our body. Okay. Panatpata, Adinandana, Kamsamichachara, and next Suramira. So this is such a harmful thing that Buddha separated it. That also belong to Kamsamichachara, because if you are an alcoholic, so you are gratifying your senses, right? It belongs to that. But this is more important. It's staying away is so beneficial, and practicing it is so harmful that Buddha separated it as a different precepts. So, the things that you stay away are these four from your body. What are the things you should stay away from your words? Four things, right? Musavada, Pisunavacha, Parusavacha, Sampapalapa. So, what a great person you become. Or you have become if you already practice that. Look at this. All social conflicts, interpersonal conflicts, degeneration falling from grace, social isolation, all of them come for people because of these four practices. Musavada is speaking the untruth. Pisunavacha is speaking the words that break relationships. Parusavacha, harsh, rough words. Meaningless, useless words. All are equally important. Now, some people have only one problem to affect their whole life, their whole social relationships. I know one person, she very helpful to others. Whenever need arise, she is the first to go and help. But unfortunately, this person has this anger tantrum, anger disorder, so that whenever an unagreeable thing occurs, or somebody says something unagreeable, what happens is that she reacts instantly. She reacts immediately. She starts complete. She loses herself completely, and she becomes an altogether different person, like she was possessed by a demon. Therefore, what happens to her is that she becomes, now I notice that this person has been isolated in society. She does not have friends. But she always complains. She always complains, right? I help this person, I help my family members. I have helped many people in such great ways, but these people don't appreciate me. Of course, it is true that she helps others, she helps people. Of course, she does. But the problem lies in her parusavacha, very harsh, unpleasant words which people don't like. So these are the four things, right? Musavata, Pisunavata, Parusavata, Sampapalata. If you stay away from these all four, so you have your verbal behavior, you have purified. Now, Sabba Papa Sakaranam Kusalasa Upasampada. Now you learn the actions that you should stay away from, but staying away from is only a portion of it. But to make it complete, more complete, you have to add the things that you should do. Now, staying away from distracting life is one thing, and helping life is another. It's opposite. If you can promote health, promote life, if you can help others, if you help those, I know we raise money when people in Sri Lanka, poor people in Sri Lanka are troubled. When they are in trouble, we raise money and we help. And in that way, we try to help. You help your community, you help temple. That's called dana, right? So helping others, not only staying away from harming others. Now, adinadana, not taking what does not belong to you, and also its opposite is giving and helping again. Now the key point is generosity and charity. So there are positive things. Positive things you have to do. And speaking unpleasant words is negative, and speaking pleasant words. Instead of musavada, we speak sat, truth, satvada, satchvadi, ඇත්ත කතා කිරීම, සත්‍ය කතා කිරීම. Parusavacha, harsh words, we speak soft words. Pisunavacha means the words that break relationships. Some people all the time they say that. But you speak the words that strengthen the relationship. Buddha told you, speak the words that support and promote integration, not separation. This is all about our mindfulness, right? We must be aware and we must be mindful about what we speak. Okay. Now, staying away from speaking meaningless words, always speak meaningful words. This is a broad topic. The Buddha pointed out six points. Buddha discussed this Sampapalapa in one sutra in detail, but the time does not permit me to go through that, so that this staying away is one thing and cultivating is something else. So this is what you call sabba papasa akaranam kusalasa upasampada. Now, staying away from unwholesome actions and doing wholesome action. Now, our external behavior is done. So we are shaping our external behavior. But at the same time, that is not enough. Not that the modern society always encourages us to shape, polish our external behavior. Say thank you when somebody helps. Say sorry if you do something. In the modern way of communication, email messages, all the time you start, hello, good morning, greetings, how are you doing? Like that. So this is the behavior of modification of his external behavior. That is what we do all the time. And modern society evaluate you in terms of that. And in a sense, that is acceptable. People don't go into our brain, our mind, and find out who we are. Instead, they evaluate us from our external behavior, what we speak and what we do, so that society encourages you to develop your external behavior. For instance, even though you're angry, don't show anger. But society asks you in your professional development, for instance, if you go to a workshop or somewhere, in your workplace, if you have professional development, okay, they will ask you, don't show anger. Don't show anger. Don't externally manifest your anger. Display your anger. But what the Buddha asks you is take actions, not to feel anger. Sachitta Paryodapanang, that is the crucial point. Purify your own mind. This is what you call bhavana, right? As a lot of Buddhist scholars have pointed out, meditation teachers pointed out, meditation is an inadequate, insufficient, incomplete kind of a translation. Meditation is not enough. It is mental development, inner culture, inner development of your thoughts, feelings, and your attitudes and your emotional reactions. This is where we all have to work. This is what you call Sachitta Paryodapana. We have to ask ourselves, have I improved my attitudes, my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotional maturity? That is what you call Sachitta Paryodapana, purification of one's own mind. This is why we observe. Actually, we observe Sila to modify our external behavior, like Kaya Kamma and Vacha Kamma. And okay, you attend the so-called meditation. You practice bhavana to develop your insight. So Buddha has given you a very clear path, proper guidance to develop your personality. Insight, that is an essential part. We are just empty people, or we are insufficiently progressed if we only modify our words and deeds. Now, for instance, Buddha guides you to feel thanks, not just say thank. You have to ask, do I feel gratitude? Do I feel gratitude? You have to ask yourself. You are the only person who can answer that question. Do I feel gratitude? If I feel gratitude, I have developed that. Instead of just saying thanks, Buddha asks, feel thanks. Instead of saying sorry, Buddha asked you to feel sorry. That is your feelings. That is your inner culture. Okay, we need to ask ourselves, do I have improved attitudes? That means racism, other kinds of discrimination, gender discrimination, discrimination of different people. Okay, to what extent have I improved in that area? If you have improved, you must be happy. In the Rahulavada Sutra, Buddha advised to look into your mind. On one time, Buddha asked, what is the, Rahula, Venerable Rahula, right? Buddha guided Venerable Rahula to be one of the best disciplined monks, right? Buddha asked, what is the purpose of a mirror or water ball? Those days, there were mirrors. Mirrors were luxury, but people use water balls to look at their faces and to reflect on one's own image. The Venerable Rahula answers, the Buddha said, in the same way, you see your mind as a reflection of your own nature and see. What do a person, a young man or a woman, if he or she sees a blemish on his or her face, what does he or she do? Remove it. And again, look at the mirror and water ball and see, oh, that blemish is gone, so I'm very happy. You must be elated. In the same way, look into your mind and find out. Nobody can do that. Only you can do that. Nobody can do that. Only I can do that. Suddhi asuddhi pachatta. Nanya manyang. So the one does not purify the another. Purify another. And to be purified or not is one's own responsibility. That is Sachitta Paryodapanam. Now, however simple this stanza is when it's practiced, it shows that you need to have a lot of commitment, lot of dedication, lot of determination, and lot of practice. That is how we become better people every day. So, having said that, it's time for me to wind up this Dhammadesana. I appreciate invitation by Florida Vihara for me to give this Dhamma talk. As I previously mentioned, the purpose of this Dhammadesana is actually this Dhammadesana has been sponsored. 1 minute. This Dhammadesana has been sponsored by this Nisanka family, Mr. Manaki Nisanka and Mrs. Ari Nisanka, and I believe that departed relatives, to transfer merits to departed relatives, and also to acquire merits for yourself and your family members, and for all of those who participate in Dhammadesana. Therefore, let me take this opportunity to, first of all, invoke blessing upon all of you. So Mr. Mahanaki Nisanka and Mrs. Ari Nisanka has done a very great meritorious deed. This is greatest dana. You know that Sapadana Dhamma Dhanam Kinati, giving Dhamma is the greatest dana, so that you gave this Dhamma. Therefore, you accumulate a lot of merits by doing that. May these merits be a part of your departed relatives, and may they peacefully exist in their after-death existence, and may they achieve the final bliss of Nibbana. Everybody keep palms together and say sadhu 3 times. And next, may you all share these merits, including the venerable members of the Mahasangha at the Vihara, and you all and your family members. May this punya be a part of your lives, and with the power of these merits, may you have a very peaceful, prosperous, and healthy existence. This punya is an energy. That energy can be utilized for our well-being. May we all be well, happy, and peaceful. May we all be well, happy, and peaceful. May we all be well, happy, and peaceful. Akhasatta ca Bhummatta Devanaga Mahittika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Loka Sasanang Devo Vasatu Kalena Sassa Sampatti Hetu Ca Pito Bhavatu Loko Ca Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Sabbityo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi dikayuko bhava abhivadana silis niccang vadda pacaino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang bhalang ti. හොඳයි එහෙමනම් සියලු දෙනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි හාමුදුරනේ.
හරි.